Idea TV is live here at the Gender and Inclusion Summit 2025 happening right here in the FCT. This year's theme, New Voices, New Approaches, Accelerating an Inclusive Society, brings together policy leaders, stakeholders, CSOs, and different participants from all over the world. This Gender Summit is Africa's largest platform for advancing gender equity and social inclusion. GS25 Summit. The voices of people must shape the policies that affect them. And in Abuja, those voices came alive at the Gender and Inclusion Summit 2025 under the theme, New Voices, New Approaches for Accelerating an Inclusive Society. The summit was anything but ordinary. It was not just a conference. It was a movement, a gathering of energy, determination, and innovative ideas. Mr. Odemufort, chairman of the Policy Innovation Center, welcomed delegates with optimism. He called the summit a platform for real change. Alongside him, Mr. Lani Yusuf, the chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, pressed on accountability and innovation, two things that can turn promises into reality.
Let us not be afraid to challenge assumptions, to question old models, and to propose bold, new, innovative ideas. Let us see this summit not merely as an event, but as a catalyst for action, a springboard towards a Nigeria that is inclusive, just, and prosperous for all.
The UN Women's Country representative, Mrs. Beatrice Ayong, reminded everyone that Nigeria cannot prosper without the voices of women and girls. She also spoke about the strategies and the gaps that we must fill to ensure this progress is recorded in our country.
That work has to be done by somebody. And, the country, Nigeria, has ratified about 75% of all instruments for the promotion and protection of women's rights. And so there's somebody who needs to track that, to see whether there's progress and to see what could actually be done before presenting it. But I think UN Women, we are already planning to track the progress. We know, for instance, if you look at the Maputo Protocol, if you even look at the actual national gender policy, it's talking about 50-50 representation by men and women in decision-making positions. But when we look at it, we don't see it. The fact is that we give a general, summarized participation or representation of women. Meanwhile, there are institutions in this country, there are governments in this country that are 50-50. So somebody should be tracking that progress and actually reporting and making people to be aware, so that we can encourage those who are actually doing the work and also motivate those who are supposed to do the work. So actually it falls within the UN to do such a work.
So what suggestions do you have in terms of basically the tracking system?
Yeah, actually the tracking system, the first thing is that we need to know what are those conventions, protocol, judicial texts. The population needs to know it. The duty bearers need to know it. The right owners need to know it. This has not yet been done. We want to start with popularization of all those things, and we will really depend on the media to help us. Because what we want to do is simplify those texts, simplify those resolutions, protocols, and make it simple for people to understand. Because one thing we realize also is that if you don't know you have these rights, you cannot really accept that right. So the one step is to first of all make people know about it. The second step is to develop the accountability framework, which we are developing. And then the next one will be the tracking and the reporting. Thank you.
From the government came new commitments. Dr. Tunja Lausa, the Minister of Education, outlined reforms on digital sovereignty, vocational training, school feeding, and inclusive learning for children with disabilities. He credited First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu, whose renewed hope agenda puts women and girls at the center of development.
Today, when we started that we need to use technology, we need to migrate our exams, WAEC and NECO, to computer-based, there was a lot of pushback. But then, we believe that that's how we can work. That's one of the starting points to reduce examination malpractices in our country. And let me tell you the danger of examination malpractices. You would disincentivize the hardworking student. And we have many more hardworking students than the fewer ones that are cheating. And that's why we've moved quickly to implement the computer-based testing in WAEC and NECO. I'm a happy man, and it's a good day for our children, it's a good day for Nigeria, and to also meet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandate of ensuring that every single Nigerian child gets the highest quality of education that you can compare to anywhere in the world.
For the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, the message was clear and unapologetic. It's Women O'Clock. She also highlighted the work that is being done by the Ministry of the Women Affairs and Social Development as regards women's development and progress.
For the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, gatherings such as this, the Gender Inclusion Summit, are crucial in shaping the national development conversation and also driving the integration of gender perspectives into decision making, while we amplify the voices that often go unheard. So we take it very seriously as part of our mandate to deliver inclusive growth and social transformation for the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Ole Idibawad, on the other hand, the founder of the GAM Africa Institute for Leadership, called on women to reclaim their stories, embrace digital tools, and build bridges across generations.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's physical and digital platforms allow us to share our stories and lessons learned so as to inspire, motivate, and lift others up, even unknowingly, to help each other get out of a victim mentality mode. As Africans, we are storytellers. In the past, our messages and voices were heard through traditional griots. They were heard through poetry. They were heard through music. They were heard through dancing and drumming. They were heard through drama. And they were heard through writing. In today's 21st century, new platforms are being added to the mix, and we must rise to meet the momentum.
The summit also gave space to voices from civil society, encourage women and everyone else to take their power back.
I think on different levels, on the public, on the private policy level, on the private sector level, I think that we need to do a lot more of scorecards to ensure that women who are working in the workplace feel empowered to do their work. And when you have certain scorecards in place and certain regulations in place, then private sector companies are obliged to be a part of it. I think that's something that really needs to happen. WIMBIS has done a scorecard before for the private sector, and I think that if we actually put that in effect, it would help a lot of women in the workplace. Yeah.
Beyond the speeches, the exhibition floor told its own story.
We are currently at the exhibition booth where we'll be seeing different technological things or inventions by Africans displayed. Self-Help Africa is an international NGO with headquarters in Dublin in Ireland, and we are present in 17 countries, with Nigeria being one of those 17 countries. Our vision is to promote sustainable livelihoods and healthy lives for all in a changing climate. So climate change is a cross-cutting theme in all of our interventions. whether it's health or livelihood. The project or the model that we're unveiling at PIC today is called the Women Business Center. The Women Business Center is a community-driven enterprise hub that allow women to improve their capacity through trainings and then to gain assets, including social assets through collectives, because they get to interact with other women and they get to receive a lot of trainings in business development, product activation, and then linkages to market. And so this overall is to improve their income so that they can live better lives, not just for them, even for their households and communities. Yes. The first phase of the project was funded by GIZ, and the second phase was from anonymous donors from the US. So they are funded, so the women don't have to pay. The women receive these trainings for free, and they receive assets, group assets. So the asset that was provided for them was not for individuals but for their group, because they have savings group, they are in clusters. So provided assets that they had requested to make their business go forward. Those are the assets that is provided for each of the clusters that will improve their businesses and increase their income.
We spoke to the country director of Self-Help Africa, an international organization empowering women with practical skills. One of the beneficiaries shared how training has helped her go from struggling into a confident business owner.
Self-Help Africa have done a lot to us. Now I can produce the disinfectants, I can produce health shampoo, and I can produce Tom brand, and I market them in the shop too.
Okay, so you produce this?
Yes. This is the disinfectant being produced by me, blended, and this is the hair shampoo that I produced by me,
And how we managed to have this knowledge is with the Self-Help Africa under Women Business Center, that they introduced this to us, and we have to learn from them on how to produce these things so that we'll be self-dependent, we'll not depend on our husbands again. We'll not be asking them for 1 naira, we'll do anything by ourselves and get the product that we used to see. We would think that we never find those products within our locality, but now we are doing them there, and we are empowering women. And women now, they are very happy. No woman in the community that is jobless again. They are doing this to take care of their houses. When they don't used to do anything, you see that their husband will not even cherish them, will not even take them to be anything. But now that they can put food on the table, her husband have started calling them honey. That time you used to hear say, Mama Monica, Mama this, Mama that. Is no longer like that. And our dressing code has changed. And even if you want to step out now as a wife, your husband will be asking, where are you going to? Honey, where are you going to? I say, when has that honey started? Was that honey happening before or now? So this group has so much helped us.
The program's manager of Self-Help Africa also explained how their reach is far and wide, showing that empowerment is not just a slogan, but a measurable reality.
For youth in work, we're implemented in Kano, Sokoto, and Zamfara. So, and the Youth in Work project is all about looking at women, 70%. Also on the value chains, we're looking at soybean, groundnut, millet, sorghum, and horticulture. So how we can create more employment opportunities for women around the nodes of these various value chains, how women can be empowered, how women can have more access to finance, unlocking those business opportunities for women to be able to thrive. This is what the Youth in Work project is working. Another angle which is quite interesting is around the horticulture piece, which is not just about the hub, the horticulture hub, but also how women who are at home can be able to at least get some earnings from what they do in their backyard farming or backyard homestead gardens and all that. So this is what, in a nutshell, what the Youth in Work is looking at.
And the call for inclusion didn't stop there. We also spoke with Grace Jerry, a tireless advocate for persons with disabilities who believes no society can truly be inclusive until every citizen has a voice.
My name is Grace Jerry. I'm the Executive Director of the Inclusive Friends Association, an organization that is woman-led, data-driven, and huge on research and advocacy on the need to mainstream persons with disabilities in any and every development effort in Nigeria. And being here at the summit today gladdens our hearts so much, because when it comes to issues of gender and how especially women and girls with disabilities can be mainstreamed or included in development efforts, we know that there is a huge gap. And when such platforms and such opportunities give the opportunity for persons with disabilities or women with disabilities to push forward our issues on the need to prioritize inclusion, it goes a long way to begin to see that huge participation of women and girls with disabilities. And when you talk about inclusion, of course, you cannot, exclude this huge demography of people. Over 35.5 million Nigerians are living with disability, one form of disability or the other. And when you are prioritizing issues of development, it's important that you capture persons with disabilities in line with the Disability Act, Disability Bill, promote access to education, promote access to political and socio-economic life for this amazing group. So we're glad to be here and to make our impact.
So I want to speak more about the level of inclusion that we have now in Nigeria when it comes to bringing disability in the workspace. How is it currently?
Okay, so when you look at in terms of inclusion and participation of persons with disabilities in Nigeria, I would say that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. When you look at the government, the seat of power, there is very little or no, a very low percentage, I would say, of inclusion of persons with disabilities. And there's something we always say, there's nothing about us without us. It is when we are in that seat of power, in the room where decisions are taken, that decisions can be taken that will influence the community of persons with disability. When you talk about access to inclusive education, how much access do children with disabilities have, and what is the quality of education that they are exposed to? So you see that there is just so much gap that needs to quickly be closed, and that is why we call on every sector, every one making one form of effort or the other to work with organizations of persons with disabilities, to work with the Joint Association of Persons with Disabilities on how these issues can be mainstreamed.
Participants themselves had plenty to say, reflecting on the energy, the lessons, and the challenges ahead.
Gender Inclusion Summit 2025 is an avenue for voices of various demographic population to come to make their voices heard. At the center of everything that's happened today is inclusivity. And when you talk about inclusivity, you talk about the way that the society has marginalized some certain people within the society. Currently, our organization is pushing for youth quota in parliament. And what are we looking for? We are asking for 1/3 of the seats at the National Assembly and State Assembly to be reserved for younger people within the ages of 25 and 40. Because this demographic age in the population of the society in Nigeria, this is the largest. And if you look at decision making, young persons within this demographic are marginalized in leadership, are marginalized to represent themselves, both at the National Assembly and State Assembly. And the quota that we are pushing for is inclusive of young women, because currently at the National Assembly, the 10th Assembly, we have no younger women being represented at the National Assembly as we speak. We have no person that is with disability. They have no representation of themselves at the 10th Assembly. So the Nigerian youth quota is seeking for a constitutional provision for young people within this demographic to be given an opportunity to represent themselves at the decision making. And we believe that it's a right that is belonging to us, and we are ready to push it further to any length to ensure that the leadership of this the 10th Assembly as well as the the renewed agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu succumb to the demand of the younger people.
My name is Angelica Obeta. My experience has been great. I've learned a lot. I've been exposed to a lot of things. I've met with great people. Networking is great and it's going well.
From plenary debate on the role of data, the plenary discussion evolved around the role of data, an urgent call for integrating women and persons with disabilities across industries.
Beyond giving them this numeracy, literacy, high-quality education and supporting them, we're also giving them vocational training as well to equip them, advance this agenda forward.
The plenary debates at the summit focused on the role of data and the urgent call for integrating women and persons with disabilities across industries. The summit further showed one truth, that inclusion is not just a goal, it is the way forward for Africa. The numbers, they say, don't lie. And of course, that happened. From just 700 participants in 2022 to more than 2,000 in 2024. Now, in 2025, thousands and more are joining both on site and online. So you see, the Gender and Inclusion Summit is not any other event. It is now a movement. And to think this is just one of the days, we hope to see more conversations, more commitment, and more voices yet to come. As one delegate put it, simply but powerful, when women rise, nations rise with them. This is Idea TV, igniting ideas, inspiring change. I am Chinatu Oji, reporting from Abuja.